Okay, good morning, everybody. It's,
Yes, they're all coming through.
Hi, John.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Brucey McFarlane has 50 plus 1 day vote.
Yeah, I'm feeling very old today, mate.
Hello,
Tim,
Tim.
Bruce, as always.
Dodgy faces.
Thanks, Jim.
What are you going to do? I like Bruce's back.
How are you? Good, thanks.
Still coming through, Nads.
Yeah, they're still coming through.
We just give them another minute or two.
Morning, guys. Luke Bosley here from Melbourne.
Hey, Luke.
Morning,
Morning,
Luke.
Luke.
Hello.
Lockdown, mate.
Serious lockdown.
Where's your mask?
Oh, I'm in the garage, so I'm safe there, Rebecca.
Morning, Patrick.
Hey,
Patrick McFadden, mate, how are you going?
There you go, fellas.
How are you,
Good,
mate?
mate.
Hi, Pat.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
You good, Luke?
How you going, Patrick? It's been a while since I've spoken to you, Patrick.
Yeah, it's like, there you go, mate.
Good, mate.
Nice
Good.
stack up.
All right, Nads, I think, are they still coming through?
They're still coming through, yep. I'm just admitting them as they come in.
How many are you up to now, Nadine?
We're at 170 participants so far.
70, okay.
Morning, Gal.
Hi, how you going?
Good, Gal.
Just give it one more minute, guys, just
Hey,
to get
Brett.
the last of the stragglers through.
Do you want me to take this to another room?
And that's what I might get you to do then is get everybody on mute.
Okay.
Morning, Lauren. Probably for everyone that's like very time conscious, we'll get this thing off and running. Guys, it's great to see so many good looking people all on one Zoom call together. Already to hear that some people have said I haven't seen you in a while, and a bit of the networking that goes on here is another added bonus to this. So listen, just firstly, thank you for everyone just taking the time this morning. We'll try and keep this as short and sharp as possible. Obviously, the last number of months for the industry have been challenging, to say the least. It's been difficult, and we felt from a business perspective that although communication has been still good, difficulty getting on site, and things like that, little things like that, probably hasn't helped the communication overall. So we just felt as a business, we wanted to make sure you guys knew we were very active, and what clients we have currently that are also very active, and it's not everybody has felt necessarily the pain during the pandemic. So for those of you that don't know myself, I've met a lot of you, but I don't know all of you. My name is Keith Doyle. I'm the Chief Operations Officer here at BDC, and the timing of my role was absolutely perfect. I started in February, just prior to the pandemic, so it's been a bit of a ride since February. So really enjoying the role and look forward to meeting those of you that I don't know. Just to give you a little bit of insight into what we're going to cover in the next 30 or 40 minutes, depending on how I suppose our questions go and how our chats go. We're going to cover off on introducing some new retail clients and some franchise partners. And just to give you a little bit of an idea of probably who's in that growth mindset at the moment, what their plans look like, maybe just give you a brief idea of requirements and go through some touch and feel photographs of some new store concepts. It'll be a short presentation by each of the client managers, and I'd like you to, although it's a big group, we want to try and keep this very casual, as BDC always do. So if you'd like to use the chat function and you want to ask any questions at the end of each session, please feel free to do that. If you would prefer to maybe use that function to contact that individual client manager to reach out, whatever way you're comfortable, we are happy with that. But we'll just try and give you a little bit of an insight into who's probably active at the moment. Going forward with this, we'd love to see this probably continue. If it's not on a monthly basis, ideally, we'll try and change it up a little bit. We've got some plans to maybe introduce some retailers bring some special guests in, and just maybe make the flavour a little bit different as we work through each session. But today we just felt it was probably important we're all in the business of doing deals, you know, and we felt it was important that we have got some new clients. Some of the existing ones we can get to at a later point, but the ones that are active today, we felt it was important that we get that message out there. So probably lastly, before we get into it and before I hand you to John, we'd also love to try and get some one-on-ones maybe with the individual leasing teams from each of the landlords going forward. We think that's potentially something that everyone maybe would be open to, and we can then look at assets and kind of look at our client base and see what potentially we can do together to grow the business. So again, just if anyone would like to do that, either come back to myself personally or come back to any of the client managers, and we can arrange that to go forward. But that's another thing that we'd certainly like to introduce going forward. So look, like all businesses, I suppose, you know, we've also had to look to pivot going forward. And we've been working on something in the background for a number of months. And I'm going to hand you over to John Sully, which is one of the founding partners here at BDC. And John's going to give you a little bit of insight into an extra service that we're going to provide with BDC. So, John, I might just hand it over to you, and you can talk to the guys.
Thanks, Keith. He's actually in the next room. I can hear him prattling on through the walls. Hope everyone's well considering what we're going through. Nad, we might just jump straight into it. If you just want to do the share screen for our little presentation. Guys, at the end, I'll just ask you for questions. Feel free to ask any, feel free to ask none, or give me a call afterwards, and we can have a chat. We can explain it a little bit further. So just go through Nad's to my bit. You there? She's fallen off a chair. Righto, there we go. So basically, we're launching today a new business called BDC Partners. And I want to firstly introduce our CEO, David Lindsay. Dave, are you there at all? Can you pop up on the screen? He's there. Hopefully. Pardon me, and Bruce McFarlane is also one of the partners representing the Blue Rock Group. He's the CEO of the Blue Rock Group. Bruce, are you there? Can they get off mute?
They just need to unmute themselves when they need to speak.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
One of them's another Irishman, so that's, you know, we're in a bit of trouble there straight away, but what can you do? So guys, so as Keith said, we've been looking at the industry certainly during this period fairly deeply, and we believe that we're on the verge of the largest entrepreneurial boom since the Menzies era. So there are a lot of Australians out there that are looking at options for where they live, where they work, and ultimately where they shop. So clearly, with a lot of people out of work, and the fact that working from home has, in some cases, proved to be pretty successful, it's opened up a whole opportunity for people maybe not going into the CBD every day. I think that's going to change globally around the world. I don't think that's saying anything brand new we haven't thought about. People are looking at moving further out from the cities where they can get a better bang for their buck. I know that a mate of mine down here has got the Hocking Stewart franchise for Mornington. It's now Bell Properties, but he's been inundated with people that are looking at houses coming down from the city even more so than it has been before. So it's going to open up a whole lot of opportunity. People are obviously going to be moving down. And so they're moving out into the suburbs. Local shopping centres, local strips need to be a lot stronger. People still want to go out and have a nice meal or buy a nice pair of jeans, and they don't want to have to go into the CBD. So we believe that's the way it's going to go. I don't think, again, we're saying anything earth-shatteringly new. I think everyone can see that the focus on local is and buying local is very, very strong. And whilst when there's, you know, we get a cure or we get something to stop this bloody thing, or at least slow it down, it will change and there might be a drift back. It's not going to go back to what it was before. So, so we've looked at the opportunity out there, and we've set up BDC Partners. As I said, it's going to be there to assist retailers and franchisors. And I think if we're, from your point of view, that if we have a look at those industry stats, according to Shopping Centre Council, there's about 65,000 specialty shops in shopping centres in Australia. There are around 79,000 franchise units in Australia. Around half of those are actually bricks and mortar retailers. So if we look at the shopping centres as a whole and the franchise industry, it looks like there's about a third of all the shops in shopping centres and strips are franchise. Certainly in the shopping centres, less in the strips. So that's a massive part of the market that we need to address. But some of the issues that we've got out there at the moment, when we're talking to franchisors particularly, they're in a world of hurt. You know, they haven't received royalties for a very, very long time. A lot of their retailers are going to take, their franchisees are going to take a long time to recover. So they're not going to have many resources from a human point of view, and certainly from a cash point of view. And when David was doing some research before, he actually applied for a couple of franchise groups who will remain nameless, but one of them particularly is over 100 stores and a very, very well-known brand. He filled out the application form online, requested to talk to someone. He didn't hear anything from them for, I think it was 3.5, 4 weeks. And then all he got was a text message. So they are in a lot of trouble, and they're a big, big part of the industry, as you know. So I think the franchise sector is about 10% of our GDP. So with taking all these things into account, COVID really has opened up a lot of opportunities across the board for retailers and franchisors, but they're paralysed. They're sitting there on the starting line, revving the engine, not knowing what they can do next because they're starved of resources. So Nads, if we just go to the next slide, and to reinforce that, this is an image of the Seek business, where most franchisors are trying to find franchisees. So if you have a look at the start back in July last year, there was about 86,000 visits, and that's now jumped to just under 110 in April and May, and it's dropped down a little bit in June. So there are a lot of people out there looking for opportunities and business. Nads, can you just do the next one? So here's an even better example of franchise business. So back in July last year, there were about 30,000 visits, people getting onto the website and looking at opportunities. That has now gone up to 71,000 people per month having a look at the opportunities. But more importantly there, that the registering an interest with people and franchisors has increased 45%. So it's a massive, massive increase. And that's clearly backs up what we're talking about, that people are looking for opportunities to take hold of their own destiny, live where they want to live, get a better quality of life. And also a lot of people are being forced to do this because they're out of work. We've got God knows how many hundreds of thousands of Australians that need to do something to generate income, because it's not going to change in the near future. So Nads, if you want to just stop sharing your screen, I just want to play you guys a video that we put together which will show you, do it because I'm not that high tech, that will show you and explain what BDC Partners does. So hopefully you can hear all this.
Introducing BDC Partners. BDC Partners has been created as a solution-driven disruptor to support the retail and franchise industry in arguably its greatest period of change. So what does it mean? While relatively new, the term disruptor has had a huge impact on our lives. Created while navigating periods of immense financial instability, like recession and the GFC. Uber, What If, Airtasker, and a raft of others have challenged convention and inspired opportunity. And it's ironic because what it really means is to solve a problem by making a task, activity, or action more efficient, accessible, and cost-effective. BDC Partners offers just that, seamless access to multiple proven industry leaders in one place. Whether it be strategic planning, omni-channel development, marketing, operations, financial management, property, development and growth, or closing of underperforming stores. We have solutions for property negotiations, franchise recruitment, legal, accounting, finance, digital strategy, shop fitting, franchise development, and location intelligence. Not since the days of Robert Menzies and the beginning of the baby boomer business owner has there been a desire and need for people to control their own destiny and income. Action brings momentum, momentum finds opportunity, and the next wave of great entrepreneurs will be born. Let BDC Partners support your desire to adapt, overcome, and achieve the bright future you deserve. Phone 039787.
So you don't need the number. Nads, just want to go back to you sharing the screen. So that's basically what it does, what we do as a group. But I just want to go through that quickly and how that actually applies to what that means to you guys. So Nads, just want to flick over. So we want to try and make it as easy as possible for retailers and franchisors to grow their business and solve their problems, but not in a consultancy way, but in a partnership way. So we're not, we certainly don't call ourselves consultants. We're people that will get out there and will actually do it for you. So as you can see in the video, obviously the services we're going to be doing property, franchise recruitment, franchise development, location intelligence with Gap Maps, which we're doing a joint venture with them. Shop fitting with Associated Projects, the same, and our joint venture with the Blue Rock Group that provide legal, accounting, finance, digital marketing, insurance, among others. So the wealth management, they're a huge group, and they get in and actually get it done. So it's been very important to pull this group of professionals and experienced operators together so we can operate effectively under the one roof and work with these guys to help them grow. Because to be honest, a lot of them are trading well in this market, but a lot of them are in the shit. There's no other word for it. So what does that mean to you guys? So if we don't sort of ignite the franchise sector from a brick and mortar view, as I said before, they're just going to be sitting on the starting line, not having any ability to do anything. So this is the reason why we built the team. And when I say we built the team, we've engaged and we've set up new companies with around 5 franchise recruiters around the country. We're in the process from now signing up franchise partners that need the help. We're going to be doing a lot of it from a very, very small retainer point of view that will go to marketing their business, but also there's a company called Fran Data that you can go in and do an audit of their businesses and they'll give you a ranking system. So it's out of 5 stars. So when people go and try and get finance, or they're getting approvals done with accounts or whatever, that we're only going to be dealing with franchisors that have been approved by Fran Data. So it gives us that quality angle for franchisees that are out there looking, and clearly, as we talked about, there's a huge amount of them that are out there looking. so then we need to get into the process and execute what we're talking about. How it's going to work is when we sign up a franchisor, we're going to do a detailed growth strategy with them using gap maps. We'll find their targeted hunting ground, so where they operate the best, and we're going to identify every centre and every strip location that's suited to their business model. So what we will do then, we can then go to each of you that are representing centres or strip locations and saying, okay, we've got these 5 or these 6 franchise groups that want to be in your centre or some of the strip areas that you're looking after. So we can then identify, yes, there is a potential site here that we could put these guys in. Then it's going to be up to us to go out and find that franchisee. And that's where I've spoken to a couple of the major landlords. Some of you are probably on this call now, and talk to you about what sort of support you guys can provide to go and source these franchisees so we can convert them into new stores and as I say, ignite this whole industry. So we can find the franchisees with your help and with a lot of your massive marketing ability. Find the franchisees. We can then secure the finance for these guys, which is a big issue at the moment. The Fran data side of things, as I said, will assist in that. So Blue Rock have got a huge finance team. Then we'll obviously do the lease deal with you guys. Then we can sign the legal agreements, and then we can build the stores. So I say it's easy, but we've mapped out the process and how we need to activate everyone that's involved throughout the line to get this thing really working. So it is absolutely critical that we focus on this and get these guys and into businesses. We've talked to a company called Link Business Brokers that are nationwide. They are actually being inundated with inquiries on new business. So when people start buying those businesses, the ones that are selling have got to get into others as well. So every aspect of entrepreneurial vision, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is being pushed at the moment. So you can see that we are about to be in the verge of a massive boom with certainly with retail, but in entrepreneurs, franchise development, everything. So it's pretty exciting. So if anyone wants to ask any questions at this point before I throw it over to Lee, by all means shoot me a note, send me a private chat, whatever you like. But I hope you can understand where we're coming from, how we really want to capitalise on this situation and work with these franchisors and retail companies to grow their businesses. Because if we don't, there's going to be vacancies everywhere, and we're going to compound the issue that we're all seeing at the moment. So, hold on, there's a couple of messages. Franchise partners that we're referring to, who we've got, as part of this forum going forward, is that as we're signing up franchisors, we'll be presenting them to you, so we can then sit down with you as a group, but then we can sit down with you individually to talk about what centres they're going to go through. Someone's asked, what's the process of registering an interested party? Look, it depends where you're coming from. From a franchisee, David Lindsay will be heading up the franchise recruitment team and the development team. So his details will be in the press release, and we can provide those later on to all of you that are on this call. If you're a franchisor, you can talk to myself or David or to Bruce, pardon me. And if you're looking for property, you can obviously talk to Keith. So have we signed up any? Yes, or are we at concept stage? No, we've signed a few up. Thanks, Jeremy. We're on the way, mate. It's pretty easy to go to a franchisor and say, hi, guys, you haven't got any recruitment people and you haven't got any money. Just give it to us and we'll do it. So they're the people that we've spoken to initially before we announced it today. The feedback's been fantastic. So I've got no dramas that we will be able to get a lot of franchisors on board because they are limited by their options at the moment. So I've got no issues with that. And as we sign them up, as I said, we can send them out to you guys so you know how it's all going as well. So is Pat received plenty of inquiry from people living local to my developments. How have the little retail experience? Would you like these people to be referred to you? Absolutely. Send it all through because we've got BDC Partners can effectively look after people from concept. We're working with a couple at that stage at the moment. And I think, Keith, you're touching on one of them later on, through to the exit. So through to a float or to a trade sale. So we can manage everything in between. Operationally, it's obviously going to be a big one from digital growth because a lot of these retailers, as you guys would know, have experienced a lot of online growth, but they are left lagging behind with some of their websites and some of their processes. So there's a huge opportunity there, and they certainly need a lot of help. Graham, how confident are you being able to finance the franchisees and how? So the Blue Rock guys, they're a lot of them are from NAB that have been in this space before. They have access. Part of the Blue Rock group is a wealth management business. They have access to a lot of individual high net worths. They have relationship with banks, obviously around the country, and some of these emerging newer banks like Judo that are more about not so much process, but more about backing the person and seeing that they have experience in that industry, or the franchisor itself has a lot of structure that they can basically back them. Because nowadays the bigger banks, the big four particularly, have gone away from lending up to, say, a Michelle's, lending up to 50% or 60% just on the name of the business. So now a lot of these emerging banks are looking at taking it to the person level. So yeah, look, it's pretty exciting. I'll answer some of the other questions that are coming through later on, if you don't mind, so we can move on. So we're going to get into now just going through some of our retail partners and their opportunities they've got and where they're looking. So I'll hand it over to Lee now, and she can walk you through our first retail partner. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, John. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Lee Rubino, and I'd like to give you an insight into Dyson. I'm sure you're all aware Dyson's a well-known luxury brand who manufactures and retails both commercial and consumer products, well known for vacuum cleaners, air purifiers, hand dryers, amongst others. Dyson currently have 85 stores across 5 countries and are now looking to further expand their brand in Australia by launching their exciting new retail concept across all states of Australia over the next 5 years. Dyson's new concept will include a national landmark opening soon in Sydney CBD, as well as regional and community hubs primarily located in upmarket homemaker centres and luxury shopping centres, which will be the smaller concept stores. Homemaker centres requirements are between 400 and 500 square metres, tenancies with wide frontages, and shopping centres around 150 to 200 metre squares, both located in the luxury brand precinct. From the pictures on the slide, I'm sure you'll agree Dyson fit out is second to none. And so if you've got an opportunity you think that may be suitable, please give me a call or give me an email. Thank you.
Righto, who's up next, Keith?
Just flick through there, please, Nadine. Guys, if anyone's got any questions, just again on Dyson, please feel free to reach out to Lee. You can message her there privately, or at the end of the session, everybody's client managers and the executive team's details will be attached. But please feel free. Dyson's one we're really excited about. I think it's a really strong brand, and the feedback so far from a lot of the landlords has been really terrific. So very, very high quality fit out, and they certainly see themselves you know, with some strong, really good, strong brand adjacencies. So it's one that we're really excited about. So thanks for that, Lee. Cam, I'll hand over to you, champ, for Kingsman.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. Good morning, everyone. So next retailer off the rank is Kingsman Hair. So some of you guys in New South Wales may be familiar with this brand. They've got 23 stores at the moment, predominantly in New South Wales, one down here in Knox, probably 4 or 5 that are also earmarked to open in the next few months. These guys are particularly aggressive. They're looking for probably 15 to 20 stores over the next 12 months. They're geared up. They've got operators ready to roll into all these stores. So they're particularly aggressive. They're sort of looking for 40 to 110 square metres, high traffic areas, near supermarkets ideally. They're probably sub-regional to regional at this stage in terms of size. It's key adjacencies. If they can be around, as I said, supermarkets, food courts, other strong youth brands, work well for them. Tattoo, if you've got a tattoo artist in your centre, they're happy to
Cam.
see those guys. I suppose the key point with a large centre, so they are aggressive. I think the key with these guys too is that, as you can see from some of the slides, is the quality of their fit out. So they don't spare any expense on the quality of that, and they're trying to make their point of difference, the quality of the fit out. So looking New South Wales still for further expansion, Queensland, Victoria, and also WA. So particularly aggressive. That's about it. I mean, I think the other thing to note, probably these guys just basic services too. Nothing over the top in terms of services. They may need some additional approvals depending on the council requirements, but if they know that early, they can factor that into their plans and all the rest of it. But fairly easy one to deal with.
Guys, if you got any questions, you can take yourself off mute and ask Cam or Leah as we go. So feel free to do that.
Just before we maybe jump into Cycle Bar there, and thanks for that, Cam. I think, again, look, guys, we're probably excited about this one because, as Cam has mentioned, there's a real aggressive growth strategy in play here now. We haven't been dealing with Kingsman that long, and I think Cam and Victoria already will increase that portfolio to probably 5, if not 6, in the next number of weeks. So I think a lot of the questions on your end come from, well, is it a franchise or is it a partnership, and have they got people ready to go? This business has got people already lined up, ready to go, and that's not an issue. Our issue in New South Wales at the moment is probably actually finding the right stock. It's been a little easier in Victoria, but certainly Queensland and New South Wales, we're still really aggressively looking for sites. So the franchise or the partnership is already in play, and those guys are ready to absolutely rock and roll. Ordinarily, probably the only thing I'd add to Cam's comments is that if the category probably has 4 to 5 barbers already, that's probably a space where we feel there's too many. Now, one thing is important. A salon is not classified as a competitor to Kingsman. They don't classify a salon as a competitor. It'd have to be physically 3 to 4 barbers. So again, if you've got anything in your assets that you think might suit this brand, please reach out to the guys respectively, because they've just finished their Bayside fit out here with the vicinity centre, and I have to say the quality is certainly extremely high, and I think it is a real, as what Cam said, it's a real point of difference in their business. So so we're excited about that. So Beck, I'll hand you across to Cycle Bar.
So Cycle Bar, so I reckon I've got the best one out of the lot. These guys are just in the very early days. So it's a concept that's coming out of the States. They've got about 1,500 businesses under the Exponential Fitness brand in the States, and it covers off things like Pilates, rowing, stretching, yoga, running, those sort of things. So they've brought this brand into Australia under a master franchise, and Cycle Bar basically is, as you can see, it's a bike riding concept. So they sit basically at 150 to 175 square metre sites. Part of that is a room that has about 50 bikes in it, and the balance of it is taken up in the reception areas. And as you can see here, we've got some change rooms, that sort of thing that goes with it as well. So there's some shower facilities, that sort of thing. We've got our first one opening in Perth, up near Joondalup. That'll happen before the year's out, and we're just going to see how that rolls, and then we're looking to roll it out nationally from there. In terms of an entry point, it's about 500 grand to get in. So each of these bites are about 3 grand each. So there's a significant cost there to start with. And in terms of how the business runs, it sort of runs from early in the morning. So you get that early class in to probably sort of 8 to 9 o'clock at night. They're 45-minute classes, and you look like that when you're finished as well, guys, just an FYI. And in terms of where they want to be, we can probably fit in most centres. The adjacencies we like is to be around other gyms. We want to be on the periphery, so you can come and go. We don't really want to be inside a centre, but be on the periphery. So access is easy. Parking needs to be good. Visibility needs to be good. All of those sort of general things for gym usage there. So it's early days for us, but we are looking to be quite aggressive once we get it fine-tuned up near Joondalup up there and get it working, and then we'll be rolling out from there.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question on that one? Is that, are they talking about ground floor only or first floor tenancies?
I don't know, Keith, you'll probably answer that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be a ground floor. I think predominantly, like obviously the convenience around parking, and they do like to have adjacencies around other fitness studios, whether it's Anytime Fitness or any of those groups. But no, they certainly haven't ruled out not being ground floor. I think there was one question there, why WA for the first one? Well, it's a Melbourne partnership between a father and son that have set this up, and they're I think they're Melbourne originally, but they're living back in WA. So that's unfortunately where I suppose the first one is, which is a little bit tricky. But look, they're well on the road to getting this up and running. Myself and John sat in on a discovery session with their first franchisees last week. They're looking at the Sydney, Balmain, Mossman area. So I think, look, there's a little bit of competition in this space, but to Beck's point earlier, the company behind this, Exponential Fitness, they're quite a large organisation. They've got a lot of different faces to that business. He particularly likes this one. This one performs particularly well in the States. So we feel that it'll be certainly a strong business going forward. I suppose until, again, to your questions, okay, well, how many have you got ready? Look, they're probably in the infancy stage in many respects, but I think the interest that they've got from the franchise side has been quite strong. So they're working through that as we speak. So I think you'll see the Perth one open in the next number of months, and then we'll see the Sydney one open, which is planned for January.
These guys, Keith, they've got the rights for all the Exponential brands, haven't they, for Australia?
He has, John. Yeah, he has. And I think, that probably says a lot about this one, because I think this is the first one that he chose to take to Australia. He felt it was right for the market. And obviously, that's where he's going to start. So I think, if it kicks off well, potentially, you're going to look at the rest of them following suit, and it's only going to be a matter of time. Beck, somebody said there they love the brand, but one of the lads said they love the brand, but you can't beat a Dyson vacuum.
Yeah, well, that was my friend, Mr. Terry. Right, Mr. I see you on a bike, Mr. Terry.
Yeah, good on you, Terry. So that's Cycle Bar. So reach out to Beck if you've got any more questions on that one. So I'll hand you over to the beautiful Jackie Manson. She's going to talk about Man Cave Barbers and his new concept going forward, the Grooming Alchemist. Over to you, Jack. She's on mute, is she?
You're on mute.
Just unmute yourself, Jack.
Done. Good morning, everybody. I'm here to present Grooming Alchemist, which is part of the Man Cave suite of companies. This is quite new into the space for men's health, working from all walks of life, but they're specialising in hair, scalp, skin treatment. So not only do women have the benefit of these health and beauty salons, we're finally going to get something around for the male. They're fit outs, highest quality, using marble, brass, timber, concrete, which has come out of Barcelona. They'll be educating and encouraging men in health. The first concept store to open in Sydney, hopefully before Christmas. COVID's actually put it just a little bit behind time. And then we'll be obviously going nationally for this. 60 to 120 square metres is what we're looking for. High profile sites, large frontages in the health and beauty area of a centre, strips as well. and hopefully you will have something for the Grooming Alchemist coming up. Thanks.
So if you all take a look at Cam Wallace, that's the quality of their work. So just have a very close look with him. No, they are very good.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think, just go back to that slide just for 1 second, Nadine. This is an interesting one because I think he's probably been one of the pioneers in the barber space, in Sydney, 6, 8, 10 years ago. And obviously now we've got their 10 a penny, and that space is actually getting quite crowded. So, I think he feels the point of difference for him going forward is in the male beauty side. So, we really like it. We think there's a real market for it. He's very much open to trying to potentially have his two brands. So this new concept and Man Cave together. So if we got to 160, 170 squares, he'd like to see two separate entrances where he'd have a Man Cave and then he'd have a Grooming Alchemist. So look, as Jackie said, I think COVID has kind of put his development plans behind somewhat. I'm not so sure Sydney will get open before Christmas. Fingers crossed it will, so we can really see it for what it is. Sometimes it's great looking at these concept drawings on paper, but we need to see them. We need to see them built. But look, he's a smart guy. He's a clever guy. I think he's onto something here. And certainly, I know in the men's space, John said he'll be sending all the lads from BDC straight in there to try and straighten them up a little bit. And Cam will be forced in the door. So
and the first of its kind.
So there you go. So I'll just I might get you. Sorry, hold on. What was Bruce saying there? What was Bruce's question? I missed that, Bruce. Sorry. It was probably just a smart comment actually about John's hair. So yeah, okay, Nadine, I'll get you to maybe move on quickly just to the next one. So Funland, Australia. So I suppose this is the arcade kind of side of things. We've just hooked up with Matthew just recently. He reached out to me, I think about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And basically, his full concept, if you take the full concept, it's the laser tag, it's the dodgems, and it's the full kind of remit that you'd expect to see in an arcade. Now, size requirements for Matthew's Funland, anything between 3,000 and 5,000. But he's also got a smaller concept, which is just a gaming side of things, which is just, if you want to call it the arcade. And if you just go back to the first page, Nads, look, what I like about this concept is he's going to be very opportunistic, okay? He's not necessarily looking for long-term deals. He's very open to doing short-term deals. So I think in terms of where you'd like to see him, those preferred precincts are probably in that dining cinema area, restaurant area, and that's where he's had some success in his 5 stores already. So look, it's a good business. Operationally, he hasn't got an issue to bring it national. He said it's a very tight industry and he'll work with a lot of joint venture partners if he needs to. Short and long-term leases, and certainly, once he's got good flooring, good square boxes, he can get in and fit out these areas very quickly. So if you think that you're looking to either potentially backfill something or you've got a short-term problem, I think with a big space, obviously, this guy might be your man. So look, I'll look after him for the moment, but if anyone wants to kind of get any more detail, and I am talking to 1 or 2 people about it at the moment, please feel free to just reach out to me on that one. But it's, good flexibility. I think he's got a good business model. And again, he's probably one that's performed particularly well during the pandemic. And he sees now his growth opportunities in the next 12 months are quite strong. So I'll get you just to flick on to the next one, please, Nads. So look, this is one I wasn't going to put in here today, but I kind of couldn't help myself because this is a very new baby business, very much in its infancy. And probably why I'm aligned to it in some ways is that it started out in the Mornington Peninsula. Now, as you see, it trades as Bold. And what it is it's that poke bowl concept. Now, the guy behind this is in the fitness industry. He's got 4 F45 businesses. And he felt this space, in this poke bowl space, more so on the health side, was potentially something that was underplayed. So, look, as I said, I can't give you a big growth strategy and say he wants to do 10 sites. But what I am going to say to you is this. He's very entrepreneurial. He's got a site in Mornington. He's got one in Frankston. He's just done a deal on a short-term one in Dramana. And I know we've got Jill Duggan on the phone today, which I think he's he's doing a deal with Jill in Bentley. But I think from an opportunistic point of view, if you have got any possible opportunities within your centres, again, either you're trying to backfill something, or you've got a restaurant or a cafe that, you know, has exited and you've got a fit out, this guy is very much happy to walk in, set up straight away. He has a kitchen off site which he preps, and he can pretty much get up and running straight away. He's got a big Instagram following. He's got a good strong app. As I said, sales during the pandemic, when me and John looked at the sales, we thought it was an error. We couldn't actually believe it. So he's been trading well. He's showing an absolute bundle of potential. We actually believe in him, and we think we could really do something with this business. Personally, the kiosk side of things, I think, again, could be a real good concept for him, because it's very much takeaway. He doesn't need seating, which is a good job considering where we're at. So again, you know, for us all, with experiencing the food court scenario, I think this is a business that potentially might have legs going forward. Are Bold interested in Vic, or is it any other states? Look, I think for now, obviously, it's probably going to be Victorian based, if I'm honest. But I think, you know, myself and John, we're looking at maybe introducing them to some investors. We're looking at all different ways this guy can grow his business. Obviously, if we get this up and running, then we'll hand it across to David Lindsay from the franchise side, and we really believe that this thing could have legs. So yeah, so it's an interesting one. Look, I've tried the product, and it's really good. It's a good price point. Everything about it to me smells of success. So, okay, so I'll move on just finally to the last retailer, which obviously you're all very probably familiar with, and it's one of the strong ones in our stable, which is TK Maxx. TK Maxx, obviously, I suppose the message I just wanted to get across here was it's very much business as usual for these guys. You know, obviously they've and they still are suffering in the States. Obviously, they had a world of pain throughout Europe with COVID and how that grabbed France and the UK and Germany and so on. But I think it's probably what it's done in many respects is it's opened some more doors for us here in Australia in terms of, you know, them you know, putting their finances in an area where they feel they've got growth. And Matt made it very clear to me a number of weeks ago in Vaughan that it's very much business as usual. So we hope to do, you know, at a minimum, we want to do 10 sites for TK next year, and potentially with a maximum of 15. And why I say 15 is probably operationally that's where they can handle. They can't handle probably any more. But 10 to 15 is a real target. So look, you know, I think their point of difference in this climate is probably something else that's going to help them grow. And they're very much, you know, they're not a discount retailer. They're an off-price retailer. And obviously that product, particularly in the homewares and the apparel side, is a big, strong part of their business. So we're very hopeful that, you know, if you guys have got, again, opportunities in some big boxes where you've got either people handing back some space, or you've got a carve up, or, you know, we've got some big box space that potentially could be in trouble. I think, you know, we like to always think laterally with TK, and you know, if we said their smallest box is 1650 up to 1750 is probably their sweet spot, up to 2000. I think, you know, I'd love you to reach out and make sure that we keep those lines of communication open with possible opportunities for TK, because again, you know, very serious about the market and really want to get stuck into it. So look, guys, I think that's pretty much it. We were conscious that obviously any more than 30 or 40 minutes on these calls is a bit of a ball breaker, and people start to doze off. So I think, you know, we didn't want to introduce any more clients today. I think we felt that was enough just to give you a bit of a tease. I probably would like to say that, you know, you've got a list there of contacts for everybody in the business. But we're a very open-ended business. So, you know, you don't speak to the right person. We just put you onto the right one. We'll send out a client list after the call this morning. And if anyone does want the file for the actual meeting, just to go through some slides, just please ask for that, and the dean will send it to you. But look, I think first and foremost, it's good to get everyone on the call. Let's keep the communication flowing. You know, as soon as we can get back out on site, particularly in Victoria, we'll make sure we do that. Obviously, Beck in Queensland and Lee in New South Wales are quite active. But we're just looking to keep things moving on our end, keep everybody in the picture, and maybe continue this format going forward. And you know, introduce maybe a joint venture at Gap Maps and get Tim Shaw, the CEO, on and let you see a bit of insight into what these growth strategies are looking like now for retailers, because the data-led side of things now is really immense, and we're spending a lot of time, money and energy on making sure that any growth strategy we do for a retailer is very much data-led. So the dwell times in centres and the synergies between MATs and GLAs in some centres and why they differ because they're not all the same. It's a new world out there. So I think we're all learning as we go, but I think certainly we want to make sure that we're all in the business of doing deals. We want to make sure that we can do as many for our clients, grow our business, and make sure you're a big part of that going forward. So, John, I might just maybe hand it across to you if you want to just finish up and maybe just outline the final kind of finality on the partner side, just to give, you know, a bit of a quick kind of a refresh on that one, and then we'll say au revoir to all our good-looking team here and all our friends, and we'll work towards the rest of the day.
No, that's good. Thanks, mate. Look, if anyone wants to have a chat to me about, you know, the BDC Partners business and what we're doing and where we're going with it, but the launch is obviously happening today. We've got press releases going out everywhere. We'll be on the phone locking away franchisors and meeting with them. We've also got another fourth partner who's we'll be announcing in the next week or two. He's just wrapping up a couple of things. Who's an extremely high profile person in the franchise space and small business space, which is going to be very exciting to have him on board. So we're going to be doing a lot of lobbying for government to try and get some funding for the franchise industry as well, like what they've done with the $250,000 loan. I don't know how we're going to go with that, but if we can get access to some funds, because it's, as I said before, franchise industry, franchise sector, 10% of GDP and employs over 500,000 people. If we can't get this thing going, we're putting ourselves under a lot of pressure. So we need to be looking under every stone to make sure that we get this thing going. And this is our first step to make sure that this happens. And I think these sorts of forums every month that you guys know exactly what we're working on, exactly what the opportunities are out there. We're not going to miss any. And TK Maxx is a perfect example where, as Keith said, they can do 10 a year. They target to do 10, but they can do 15. Now, if they only do 10 in the year, doesn't mean next year they can do 20. So we've got to make sure that they are getting every single opportunity that is out there and allowing them the ability to do the 15. So there's, if the last, let's say 3 years, we've only done 10, there's 15 stores and, you know, 15 times by the square meterage that they normally take that's not getting rent. So we need to be a much more efficient and communicate in a much broader model to make sure everyone understands who's out there looking, where they're looking, what they need, and behave together. And I think that's one thing that I've been really buoyed by is I think that the landlords out there and the leasing teams out there have done this really, really well during this period. We catch up with retailers in a forum like this all the time to have a chat about opportunities that are out there, and everyone on the whole has been very positive the way we've behaved as an industry to work through this, and we understand that landlords are under duress and the retailers are, and trying to find that happy medium. And I think that's important that we keep going along that vein as well. So look, thanks very much for everyone. This has been fantastic. We will see you next month. Apparently the Perth people got all like, you know, I didn't want to get up this early at 7 o'clock. So we're going to do it a little bit later for them next time.
Except for me, John. It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, shut up, Mark. So you're the only one up in WA at the moment, mate.
Yeah,
So anyhow, we'll do it a bit later. We're going to do it every month. We might do it, you know, every third Wednesday or something like that. And we will keep presenting new retailers so you guys are fully aware of what's going on out there. But feel free to approach all the team. Let's get as many opportunities out there as we can and work together and crack this nut. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good stuff, everybody. Thanks for
Thank
getting
you.
on.
Yeah,
Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Guys.